right, so today's video, we're going to be watching a Plat 5 tank on PC playing Sigma. So there you go, just Sigma today. And they say, hi, I've been watching you for a while now, and thanks to that, I know that standing in the middle of main and taking 100% of the enemy team's damage is not a pro strat. I pay very, very close attention to your tank tips, probably hard to tell though, and I feel I'm becoming friendlier with corners. I try to use my rock sparingly and let my shield breathe whenever I can remember, but my cooldown still needs some serious work. The match seemed way harder than it needed to be, and it left me wondering what I could have done better. My team told me I was giving up too much space too easily, but I don't think that's true. I made a stupid mistake at the beginning, trying to body block the enemy tank in front of the enemy team. But after that, I locked in, I think. I also have no clue how to deal with Sierra Ult. I hope to reach Diamond this season, and I want to know if that is realistic. Thank you in advance for any wisdom you may impart. And then PS, you were duoed with a DPS. Okay, no worries. All right. Step one, don't hold this close. I'm serious. Yeah. You'll see people hold close here in like a lot of ranks. But like if you already see a Ramatra, the first thing I'm doing is backing up. Right? I already like, I think something that I should explain more with tanks is that like, if you see somebody who can basically prevent your cooldowns, right? Or like eat through your cooldowns or punch through your cooldowns, just back away, because you're going to end up backing away anyway for the most part, unless the Ramatra ends up hecking up like badly. Again, you're relying on them to heck up, not on you to make a good play. So like, the moment you see a Ramatra, all you do is you back up to here, right? And then you can just kind of like play this angle. And then you can, if you want, you can try to go this way, but if they're already pushed through, then you're fine. Then you play the normal kind of like, play here, they're going to go here. Let your teammates worry about this side. Again, easier said than done. Like if they cross over, then you can back up if you would like. If they don't cross over, you can go left side. It gives you more room to work with. But like if you start right there against a Ramatra, you're just going to get punched through. We'll see though, of course. Obviously, if they don't take advantage of that, they don't take advantage of that. But you notice how you're ending up backing up anyway? I want to prevent you from having to even like do you see how much, like, look at your cooldowns. You mentioned your cooldowns and how it's a struggle for you. Look how much you just used there, right? You see how much you used there on the bottom right? And that was all just to get back to the spot that you could have been at before they even did this, right? It's like recognizing what they have. Right now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to force every rank to have to play like top 500 because that's not going to happen. So if you want to hold close there, okay, let's give you kind of an in-between of that. If you want to hold close, okay. But if any of those heroes are capable of basically meleeing you, or being what I would consider a soft counter to you, like a Ramatra. Reason why I'm saying soft counter is because I just don't think there's like, I think people counter swap too much. So I don't want everybody to see, oh, there's a Sigma, let me go Ramatra. Because I don't have a problem playing against a Ramatra at Sigma. It's about you have to, adjust your positioning based off of that. So again, just to kind of like look at how much cooldowns you've used from just playing close by not recognizing like, Ramatra is going to be tough against you in that situation. So recognize that quickly, back up, and then you're fine. But look how much you had to use, and now you don't have any cooldowns, right? So teammates do a good job. And your team wins, and you win the team fight. So there you go. If the Sigma lands a rock, yeah, exactly. But you want the distance to be, a distance, right? You don't want to be like, here's the Ramatra here, and here's the Sigma. Because if you do it here, then you're gonna end up falling over anyway. Because the Ramatra will get right back up after. So first team fight done, you go back and push forward. Yep. Okay, now back. See what I mean? Also, look, I like Ramatra's face here and the way he's just like kind of like, even Ramatra's disappointed in you. I want you to take a look at Ramatra right now. Look at Ramatra. Even Ramatra's disappointed in you right now. He has his arms crossed, looking disappointed. Okay? All because you stayed right at the choke again. But yeah, no, like the first time, listen, I'll give you a little bit of wiggle room, but hopefully you'll learn from this first point right here on what to do when you see that type of matchup, okay? You don't want to take on these early engagements if it's gonna lead to exactly this. And then the mistake you made there was you still had a chance, but rather than like back up, you just ended up turning your back to their whole team. So all this team saw was a Sigma there. Anyway, I know I've gone pretty far on this one, but I do want to kind of give people a better, I guess, explanation on that one. You falling over right there at the beginning, that's on you. That could have been easily solved by just, playing further back. I mean, if you want to play halfway close up, the statue on the front side of it can work. Going up. Much better. Now you don't have to. All right. Now remember, Nemesis form in 2 seconds, so good luck. Okay. I don't like the position you were in, but I do like the ult. Good ultimate. Good job. I just want to point this out for like people playing Sigma. One of the best things you can get comfortable at, right, is doing damage at range. I noticed that you want to get really close to the Ramatra when they're blocking. You ready for this? You don't have to do that because if you get up there and they go from block to punch, they're going to do more damage to you. So like you don't want to get into melee range. I saw you do that where like the Ramatra was running the way and you wanted to keep running up to them and melee them. But like for the most part, you're not going to want to do that because you want to distance yourself because all it takes is a burst heal on the Ramatra and then you're falling over. So just remember that. You know, use your range. Don't let your shield break, by the way, without you, like you getting rid of it before it breaks. It just blazes a little bit. Although I let that happen sometimes, so it depends. You asked earlier what you do against Sierra ultimates there. That was just a good ult. I'm not even mad. That was just one of those like those good ults. Normally you'd be able to like survive it, but you're so close to Sierra that you're just in the middle of it. Okay. So this scenario, how do you retake this? Take your time. Right? If anyone wants to know how I would approach this, like in like how to retake properly, okay. You look for multiple things. Ready? First of all, where are they at? Right? If they're all the way back here and they're positioned around here, you know, playing these corners or up here, you're not pushing past, right? You got to stay here. But when you have this much space, I find that people really try to rush to here. But my question is this: if you lose this team fight, is this card pushing in? The answer is yes. That's also how I dictate a retake. So if the card's back here, right, I will fight for this space much more than I will fight for this space if the card is guaranteed captured. If you were to lose this team fight, you were losing this point. So what I would do here is actually set your team up in a more kind of, you know, slowly push up here, try to get to about here if you can, and then reevaluate that and then take this corner. But keep in mind, like your teammates are the ones that are going to help you get this, right? If your teammates expect you to go in here and do this all on your own, that just ain't going to happen. So you're going to need your Moira or your Mizuki to basically use their ultimates to get you through. So this is a team effort. So we'll see how it goes, but that's your only way that you would get here safely through this. Let's find out. Right? So for your teammates saying you're not creating space, well, here's my question. How did their teammates create space? Did the Ramatra just get really aggressive in front of you and just start running at you? No. Their Kiriko helped create the space. And sometimes that's just the point I'm making here is a lot of people always want their tank to make space, but aren't willing to help their tank make space. You know, I know that the, like, you know, tanks are very, like, you know, strong and that tanks have a lot of HP, but if you don't help your teammates create that space or take that space, how can you expect them to take it, right? Their Kiriko uses Kitsune here. Your teammates have Moira ultimate and Mizuki ultimate and don't use them, right? Now, of course, there's a communication aspect of this of like, hey, you know, can we Moira out this or something like that to kind of get that play going? But like, all I see here is a Kitsune Ramatra against a no help. You know, you need some type of ultimate to help you there. So it's one of the point that part out. So like this part, I would say is more as a team fight loss as a team, not like on one individual or anything like that. Here we go. Here it is. Okay. I mean, again, I know you're trying to get in front of their face. So I think at this point, you know the point of that one. Readjust your shield more. Okay. Something about shields, by the way, I use them like Zarya bubbles more than I use them as like Rhine shields. Like that shield right there wasn't even line of sight in anything. If you're going to shield, at least like, you know, line of sight a couple of shots on their teammates. The cart was you know, like you could just put it here. You're going to lose your shield. Yeah, but you're reducing some damage. But use it like a Zarya bubble. Look at the shield. What value are you getting now? Nothing. So. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, I'm still watching. You're doing fine. Okay. I think what I would do here. Still waiting. One of the easiest plays you can do here for a good follow-up is I will have like an eternal timer on the Zenyatta ultimate, then I'll lift the Zenyatta up into the air so that when they go into the air, as they hit the top of the air, they lose their ultimate, then they all land and they take a bunch of damage and your teammates follow up. So right about now. Yep. But towards the... Okay. I get what you're going for. We'll see if it works. Okay. I don't mind that play. Keep in mind you can go both ways on that one, right? Where you can kind of just like lift them up into the air and go for a bunch of kills. Either one works. That was a good play to help your teammates. That was a good like help your teammates type of play. So that was good. Shield up, please. Here's above you. Yep. Spam up. Nice job. Good play. He's looking. Talk about this. That you don't need to shield off a Kiriko. I've seen so many times where you're not managing your shield that well. So if you want a little bit more help with like how to efficiently use your cooldown here, like make it a habit to drop your shield when they can't. It's not going to do much to you, right? The Kiriko, like you don't even need to shield the Kiriko off there. Like they're not going to. I mean, if they two-shot one of your teammates, it's because they were standing still AFK, right? Like so. Even though it says 548 HP, remember that the shield, it's not the most HP shield, so that's why I always kind of recommend using like a Zarya bubble at times. You know, obviously there's going to be certain cases of that if you're on an off angle and you just use it for yourself. But, you know, there's a lot of time where you could have full shield going into a team fight and you're you know, missing 300 HP on a shield. That's a huge difference in survivability for your team. So, just always remember that. What is it, 650 on the HP? Yeah, so. Yep, and there it is. Shield's dead. That would have been a situation where it would have been okay to back up with your eat, so that way you get a little bit of overshield on your way out, rather than use your shield to be able to get you out, right? Notice how now when you needed your shield for all that damage, if you played the corner better there, you won't be taking as much damage as you are. Punch perk I'm okay with here. The major perk, by the way, is like, either one's fine, I think. I like the float perk a little bit better. I mean, okay, so... Like, you have plenty of time. You wanted to know how to get out of the ultimate. Like, here, let me just show you very quickly so I haven't rewound as much. Like, watch this. Like, you wanted to know how to get out of this ultimate. You ready? You just don't stand in this stuff. Like, it takes a while, so once you hear that thing, just go this way. Like, you just go this way, see? I know that's, like, probably not what you wanted to hear for this ultimate, but, like, look how much room you just go this way. And ultimate's really easy to get out of once you hear the voice line. Now, of course, I'll play rank today and die to it 8 times in a row when I say that, but, yeah, it's just... I think you're more worried about looking up to see where it's going to be at and try to, like... Remember, you can't eat the ultimate either, so if you're trying to eat the ultimate, you can... I think there's something with the like it depends where the drone is. Wherever the drone, actually, you can eat the. Let me rephrase that. You can eat some of it. I think like the things that come out of the mines, but I don't think you're going to be able to eat enough of it to be able to survive behind you. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. So I would just play more to get out of it than to eat it. Okay, here's my take. The best way to get better at it is when you hear the voice line. That's what I go off of Q-wise. Again, you know, everybody will have differences of why they can't, etc. I totally get that. But I listen for the sound cue of Sierra Ultimate and I just move. I guess I have to explain it better because I'm like, yeah, just get out of it. But like, let me kind of explain it. I think a lot of people wait for the ultimate to land on the ground. But the ultimate doesn't, when they hit the button, there's a drone that drops the ultimate. So what I listen to is the sound cue and then I just go away from where I see the Sierra. So if the Sierra is directly in front and I watch them shoot out this way, I'm already moving over that way. Does that make sense? So I think what happens is I think a lot of people, let me go back to it here. Let me show this. What a lot of people do, and this is when I would start reacting to it already. Again, I will get rolled by this ultimate, so this will be funny when I do, but. So like, let me show you. So when I hear that eyes on the sky thing, right? I'm actually, you know what? I'm going right side with it, right? I'm just looking at the point of view. I'd be going right side with it, right? But the point is that either way, once I see the voice line, I'm moving, right? I'm moving left or right. That's what I'm doing. That's how I avoid the ultimate all the time. But in defense of the ultimate here too, being this close is a good ultimate again. So sometimes like you will die to it there. So I can be a little bit more forgiving on this one. Although I think I would have gotten out of this one. I would have just went right here for a second, let it blow up for 2 seconds, and then use my cooldowns out, which you do have. Actually, you don't. You have your eat, so maybe not. We would just eat at the ground would have blocked the ultimate? I don't know. Never tested it, to be honest with you. Are you talking about the surfboard shield? I used to try that with a couple of ultimates. Feels like it's RNG. So, yep. The easy to miss with the drone is, though. Yeah, that's why I'd say just kind of go off the sound cue, by the way. Again, like maybe it was a little bit too harsh on that ultimate one just because of how like I reacted like Sierra ultimates. Just I would say try to use the sound cue more than you use like the drone. You know what I mean? Or like where the drone's at. I think that's kind of how I would approach that. But that was honestly, I got credit to Sierra. That was some good ult too. Good ult. Excellent ult. Nice job. Following up on your damage. Well played. Good play. Also, like your reaction now of like trying to avoid going for the Ramatra and going toward their backline. I think that's the better approach, in my opinion. Yeah. Hey. A lot of this, like you have a 10 shield that's backing up, is happening way too frequently. You mentioned earlier you play more walls. I think you got to get better at that too. Like you have the same rotation of throwing your shield up here. You put your shield up here. You hold it. You hold it. You hold it. I mean, not hold it. You let them kill it. Then you sit here. You use your eat, and then you back up. So then when you turn the corner, now you have your eat cooldowns on an 8-second cooldown. Your shield's at 11 HP, and then now they can take a free team fight down this angle, right? So think about it like. Don't use your cooldowns aggressively here. Now, you know, a little bit of a note, like you could throw your shield up and then, you know, eat directly in front of it, drop your shield back away, give yourself some overshield, things like that. But utilize backing up for cover than anything else. Does that make sense? But yeah, I mean, look at now when they can take a team fight, you don't have what you need. You have a 40 HP shield you threw up there. You have no eat till now, and they're getting full control of this part of the map, which you basically gave up for free, right? So, oh, you gotta run. Just run. Just go. Yep. Now remember, I want you to think about the domino effect of all of this. Your shield never got back to full HP again the rest of the way. Your cooldowns were used so reactively, and now they get the point. You see that though? Right? It Hazard and Sierra ults are nasty. Oh yeah, like if I'm going against a Sierra ultimate with a combo, there's nothing you can really do at that point. If they combo well, they combo well. I look at it as like, hey, at least we're getting 2 ultimates out. So, but yeah, Sierra ultimate is definitely it's a very interesting ultimate because, you know, it's something I got to learn like when I'm watching like, you know, different ranks, etc. Like I generally see Sierra ultimate not get many kills in top 500 because like once you hear the sound cue even close, you just start to adjust to it already. So you generally get out of it or take only like one burst of the damage, right? So, but I understand that like it can be different in different ranks and how it plays. So I gotta make sure to be smart and like, you know, go based off of how the rank plays it, etc. So I would say sound cue, that's important, yeah. But yeah, if you're close range or they combo it, it can be a bit more tough. So no Sierras yet on the others? Oh, you haven't played against Sierra yet? Yeah, I play against Sierra a bit. She does a crap ton of damage. Like that is the one thing about her like character. She does a ton of damage. But in like top 500 players, just line of sight all of her skill shots, so her kit is like cut in half. Which kind of sucks, but yeah. Basically, the skill shot becomes you just use it to get the 20% major perk bonus. All right. I would try to take away the right side of where that Sierra is. I think that's going to be your best bet going forward. So, yeah. Not bad. On the objective. Yeah, shield. Yeah, I mean, I if I was talking about how much they were like kind of like leaving the shield out, that would be the whole VOD. So sometimes I skip that part of it because I'm kind of getting the, you know, I talk about it quite a bit. I'm like, okay, you know what? I think we got the shield stuff down. I think they, you know, the tank here will eventually kind of see that. So, yeah. Yeah, you're going against the gauntlet here, Ryan and Ramatra. I mean, normally I would say to try to rock that, but I've been pinned by that many times, so nothing you can do about that. That Ryan just gave you a free kill. Good job. You know, back to what you said about space creation. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. In that situation, you're doing the best that you can based off of what you're playing against. And Reinhardt, you don't want to run into that, Ryan. So I think that was fine by you. All right, into the air the Sierra goes.
Return to me. The barrier has fallen.
All right, so everything's fine so far. Now you could be wary of ulting the Rhine here. Like, it's okay if you ult the Rhine, but make sure there's multiple people in it. Yeah, so multiple things here. One, the reason why I didn't want you to ult the Rhine is for two reasons. One, the Rhine will hold their shield up in the air and the teammates can survive. Two, there's a Life Weaver on the team, so they're going to get pulled. What I want to see is multiple targets in there because then the Life Weaver can't make that quick decision. So you had the right idea of going deeper there, but it would have been fine to get like 2 or 3 in it, so that way the Life Weaver gets pulled out, and then you can kind of maybe follow up on a kill, or at least you're getting a cooldown out. Maybe the Kiriko's forced to cleanse. But yeah, something to keep note of. I have one ultimate. I don't know if anybody else has this. When I play Sigma, I have one ultimate a game where when I'm playing against a Life Weaver, I pop the ultimate and go, why'd I do that? There's a Life Weaver. And then I adjust it after that. So I'll give this ultimate that kind of like, you didn't really think about it, right? You know, you're just like, you just don't think about that interaction. Even me who plays a crap ton of Sigma, I forget about that sometimes. Like, I know it exists, but I just forget. Here we go. Big slam. I mean, you did it right of reacting to the shatter, but you need to put yourself in a better spot to be like able to react to the shatter. You basically want to be not on top of the card. That's basically the point I'm making. Also, look how much overshield you have and why it's so important to do that. This Rhine, dude, if I play against Rhines like this sometimes, it is the most frustrating Rhine to play against as Sigma. The one who constantly charges at you over and over again. Let me tell you, what rank is this Plat? The one who just refuses to like manage his shield and just goes at you. You can get rolled as Sigma so many times with that, so you're doing a good job of dealing with that. Much better attack outside of the ultimate and, you know, a couple of like shield management things. Much better. I like your confidence going up on the high ground. Very good so far. Very good. I mean, you're going to a good spot. You up rock. Much better. Yep. Yeah, I like seeing aggressive, you know, like aggressive approaches, right? That one's just unlucky. I saw what you were going for. No worries on the ult. Hey, there you go. You got out of Sierra ultimate. Nice job. And this should be a win, right? Cool. Easy. And again, when it comes to like spectating, oh no, it's not a win. My bad. I thought for some reason I thought it was a win. Oh no, are you gonna? I know. Oh, maybe not. We'll see. This here is loud. Yep. Oh yeah, very a lot of sound there. Between Plat and Silver, like the difference between ranks. Generally just where people position, how they manage the cooldowns. Like even here, like even though I've been talking about playing close here, like at least you're getting the idea of, like someone asked what the difference between like Silver and Plat that I would notice in this one. Like in Silver, I would find that no one would actually back up from this engagement, right? It would just be both players, like, you know, and again, I could watch a Silver VOD, but this doesn't happen, but basically what happens when I watch a lot of Bronze Silver VODs is players will just stay here, and this is where the fight happens, and this is where the fight ends, right? In Plat, you start to see more of like the backup, right? Of like, okay, we're starting here. I think we're supposed to start here. Maybe we're not supposed to start here, but we're going to start here. And then you generally try to back up. Obviously, we saw that mistake in the first half where the Sigma didn't back up. This time around, adjust to that mistake. It's probably just more quicker adjustments and knowing when to back up easier, I would say. Mon, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mon. This is a weird one because your teammates are playing close too, so you want to play closer. I still think, I gotta be honest with you, I feel like you're still making the right play. People are gonna look at this and be like, yeah, help your May. But like, okay, pretty much probably any Mercy player can tell you this. How many times do you get killed trying to save your teammate or help your teammate for being out of position? Like how often like do you like, you have a DPS that is just like playing like so out of position but wants to be pocketed the whole time, and then you feel obligated to go try to save them, and then you try to save them and they get you killed too? Yeah, you want Kiriko? Yeah, Kiriko has the same thing. So this is one of these situations where you said your teammates are complaining about like you know not taking enough space. Listen, if this May actually hits a wall that makes sense here, then I'm fine with it, right? Yeah, maybe you cut off this side, no one's there, right? You know, the May wall, in my opinion, if I was to like, if you were to ask me, hey, when would you get aggressive with this May? If this wall blocked this off and there was one person in front, right? Now, of course, it's all, you know, if they're all 1 HP, that's different. There's a lot of nuance to that, et cetera. So you have to think about that part of it. But this was more of your May just overextended, like, you know, not recognizing the situation. There's a bunch of people there. You're down teammates. Like, that's one of those, if you go and help them right away, there's a good chance both of you fall over and die. At least right now, you're still alive on this one. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Right? And that's what happens. See? You're still alive. The only reason why you might lose your Mercy there is not because of you, it's because there's a life lever top right that no one's looked at for the past 3 minutes. There we go. So yeah, anyway, that was pretty good. Remember, I think Sigma had the perfect voice line for you right there where Sigma said patience. One thing to always keep in mind, and this is a reminder I have to give myself even to this day as Sigma, your aim is a projectile, not a hit scan. The reason why you weren't getting the kill in front of you is because you were basically trying to hit scan them. And even though the closer you are, the easier it is to hit that, just give your aim like a 1/10 of a second delay to it, and you're gonna be fine. You just gotta remember, projectile is predictor where they're going to go. Hit scan is where you're aiming at. So in those situations, with your aim being projectile and the close movement, your aim is always a second behind them. So you'll sometimes, and Chad probably hears me say this, I'll say it's a projectile, not a hit scan. It's a projectile, not a hit scan. And then right away, my aim just improves greatly because I remember the process of the difference of that. So keep that in mind in those close range, okay? It will help a ton. Right there is kind of the example. Do you see how like getting out of the Sierra ultimate wasn't too difficult on that part of it? Again, I was a little bit harsh on the first half one. After looking at that, you were put in a rough spot with that one. So what I will say is the sound cue is the most important part. Just remember that because you did ask a few times about that. So good job though. Overall, not a bad hold. I'm a little bit confused by your teammates talking about space creation. I think, and I guess this would be something for everybody to hear in every rank. Sigma is not the type of space creation tank that other tanks are, like a Zarya or Ramattra or a Reinhardt, a Diva, etc. It kind of is more in that dominant style of you get to your spots, you zone them out with your damage, and then as they have to back up because of the damage output you're putting on, you get aggressive. Now, of course, if your teammates are saying, hey, I'm going to Juno you in and use an ultimate or speed boost you in, let's get aggressive, that's a different story, right? If your whole team as a core is playing with you, that can work. Remember, Sigma takes space by zoning out with damage, so you take the space that your Sigma creates for you, no matter where it is, do the damage, and then keep pushing up. It's a different type of tank for sure when it comes to that approach. It's definitely different. All right, say your attack goes based off of, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but based on how much time's left in the VOD, I assume your attack might go well. All right, let's wait. Here we go.
The barrier cannot withstand my
Okay. For example, by the way, do you see how close their Diva's playing right now and what it's done to the Diva's HP? Like you're seeing it in real time. Why I don't like when this is being played that close. Look at Diva's HP. Diva's trying to overextend to the left side wall to get a kill, and now the Diva has to fly away, which is going to give up the space anyway. And now their Diva feels like they're basically on their back foot. See? So even in a great, much better, a little bit better main wall than yours did on the previous half, you're able to survive that. Your teammates get map control, and they can never catch back up, and your team just wins. See? So when you play further back on King's Row, it gives you more time to be able to get a pick and less time that less damage output. So either way, good job by your team. I hit pause right before I did that because of the spectator bug. So, but yeah, overall, aim is looking solid. Obviously, I gave you a little bit of advice on the projectile one. Getting out of Sierra ultimates, because keep in mind, this was an asked question about Sierra ult. Just try to use the sound cue more. Generally, try to pay attention to where the Sierra is, right? And you can kind of just see where they're aiming at. You don't even have to see the drone, just see where they're aiming at. Obviously, you can try to block. I think you can block the drones, right? I think you can eat the drones, but you can't. I don't know. Either way, try to step out of the ultimate when you can. You can try to use your eater like a shield to block the damage above you. Remember, it's gonna be from above you a little bit, so it's gonna land down. So I think you can block it with your shield, but you can practice that in the range just in case you're in a custom game. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at the interactions too much on that. So, and then when it comes to space creation, remember, stop playing in front of Ramattras and Reinhardts and just do the damage. I think a lot of the time you're just giving them free damage output, and you on the flip side of that, your cooldown management is your weakness, and you did kind of mention that a little bit. And a lot of that stems from you're not using your shield correctly. I think you not using your shield correctly is your major problem. So again, use it more like a Zarya bubble. When you're using your shield just to absorb 650 damage 20 feet in front of you, and then you go into the rotation of using your eat, you're never going to have a full shield. The best thing you can do is manage your shield to constantly be up to the point where the other team thinks your shield's never broken. And that requires a lot of shield management. So better shield management will lead to better cooldown usage, because it seems to me Like, you know how to use eat because you have bad shield placement, right? You're using your cooldowns earlier, so they're taking space away from you quicker. So the teammates are believing that you're not creating space, but in reality, you're just kind of giving up the space that you've created too easily, and that's where you need to clean up your gameplay. But if you clean that up, you wanted to get the diamond, I think it's possible. I think your mechanics are capable of it. I mean, unless I'm misremembering in the past 2 minutes, your aim felt solid, your rocks were pretty accurate. The rest is what you need to work on. But if you get that down, you'll see a huge improvement. Remember, again, you just said you were working on corners more. That was your problem, though, is you were playing too in the middle of the open and then using your shield. So fix that and you'll be good to go. All right? But you got this. You absolutely got this. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, all that helps. Y'all know what, with that one. If you want to submit your own spectating, keep in mind, there's no guarantee, but we get a lot of submissions, but my Discord's way to do that. And outside of that, if you want to watch another one of these on the bottom left or right, you'll see something pop up. Click it. It's a good one. And with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.